Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show where we talk about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of Supergirl. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. Well, first and foremost, we have, the super friends gathered around, just having fun. They need to relax after everything, but Kara can't because she's the one the most on edge and she ends up confiding in Lena about it later on why, but it's like, this is the most powerful enemy she's ever gone up against. It's like most enemies, she at least has some belief and hope that she can beat them. Nyxly's different. It's like she's never going. I mean, to be fair, like the Kryptonians have always had a weakness to magic. That's like other than kryptonite. That's one of like their Achilles' heels. Is like magic. It's like it's one of the things that could definitely hurt them. But also, Nyxly's got fifth dimensional magic, and she's not like Mixie was, he's kind of his own thing of, his magic kind of ran wild, and you had to find a roundabout way to defeat him, and when he does come back, he's being helpful to you and everything, so it's a completely different thing when Nyxly's like full-blown villainy of like, I'm gonna collect something that's going to basically wipe everything out of existence if I want to. So, and plus, fifth dimensional magic just on his own is just stupid powerful, so it's like, how do you go toe-to-toe with that? So, like, Kara is a little disheartened when it comes to this battle, so especially because she can feel all that Nyxly's feeling, especially because like Nyxly's so like giddy and stuff like that, because I love that like I think Kelly was talking about the Esme situation, and then all of a sudden like Kara starts laughing, and then Alex is like, why are you laughing? Why are you laughing like that? And it's like, oh, because Nyxly's happy because she's found the next totem and she's ready to jump into it, because it turns out the next totem is the humanity totem, and it's tied to the tree that Buddha was under. I was like, oh, that's interesting. It's neat knowing, like, obviously, I'm very fascinated to find out, like, the history to all the, like, totem artifacts, like, what they're tied to, and, why we kind of get, like, the respective, like, why they became the respective totems that they became. So, with this, like, it makes sense with the whole, like, Buddha situation, but, essentially, Nyxly gets it, and she's like, it's like, oh, do you accept this? And she's like, yes. And it's like, okay. And she's like, wait, there's no gauntlet? Cool. I was like, oh, that is kind of weird. But like when she attacked with it, like it affected everyone. But once again, it's like, it's fascinating. I don't know whether Kara is able to just to block it, or is it like, what is it about like Kara that she continues to not be affected by? Like Lena, I guess I can make some justifications of like, well, because like I'm assuming like magic can't affect other magic maybe. So, but like Kara, like maybe because she's considered a challenger in this, so like, but even though it's like, because I don't know, like maybe her cape or clothing has like magic protection because like it went past her and affected everyone else, but it's like her humanity was never taken, everyone else's was, and that ends up being the problem. Like the whole city goes into pure full-blown chaos, while this is happening. At the same time, like William is embedded amongst them. It's not like the Office kind of mockumentary I was kind of hoping to be, but it's like, yeah, him following around. I love it. It's like, oh, thanks for letting me stay here, follow you guys, John. Or should I call you Mr. Manhunter? John is fine. And it's like, hey, like, so how does Kara and Nia have it? It's like, yeah, they have an N. It's like, oh, Alex, you're, my partner in crime. It's like, okay, cool. So it's like, right, you can't tell anybody's secret identities, because they also wanted to make sure Lena didn't get put at the forefront of this too, because, well, they need to keep her secret, because like the last thing they need is Nyxly to know they have magic on their side, and specifically that it's Lena, because if she finds out they have magic, that's one thing, but also she finds out it's Lena, she's going to come after Lena, because Lena her magic could potentially be a threat to Nyxly in the future. So I was like, might as well nip that in the bud while I got the chance. So that's a big thing. Plus also, if people found out Lena Luthor has magic, that's going to change things. So it's like, mum's the word, let's keep it hush-hush. So they're setting a lot of ground rules on what John can and cannot. I mean, everyone's putting a limit on what William can and cannot say in his article, which makes it harder to write the article, which, like, Andrea was down his throat this episode for it. And just, like, even the fact is that she's, like, got spyware on his computer, and he's like, whoa, I'm literally typing this. How do you... Did you hack my computer? It's like, that's kind of wild, but I guess her justification is like, everything you do here is Catco property, you know. So like, what does it matter? Like, you know, like these, you're all using our computers, so maybe that's her justification for it too. I'm like, that is a little invasive, but I guess it's like, yeah, everything you do at work kind of belongs to us anyway. So it's like, why does it matter if I'm spying on you and that? But she's pushing for it, even though William's like, I'm literally just gained their trust. We don't want to burn that bridge yet. Let's kind of get to it slowly. Like, it's like that side of Andrea kind of like, oh, getting whatever she wants. It's still there. It's a core aspect of her personality. Yeah, we might be like in a different Earth situation. Like, you were just like her circumstances, you figured probably like pushed her, like, granted the Leviathan thing, that all led to that. But at the end of the day, like, I just, it's actually kind of sad to see that she's so like, but also like, that was also the thing of like, she turned Catco into what it is because she has the business mindset. Like, all she cares about, like, oh, this cool story being written, like, more clicks, more. Like, you know, it's like, that's all she cares about. Like, she's not into the truth of like the journalism and stuff like that. Sure, if truth gets us the clicks and makes us the bucks, that's fine. Because once again, they're like, weren't they like 8th? Wasn't it, I'm actually blanking on what their number was. They were, which obviously, you know, Daily Planet's number 1, so obviously, she's going to feel a way when William later on throws it out there. It's like, fine, you could either write the article the way publish the article the way I've written it, or I can take it to the Daily Planet. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. It's like, yeah, you know, that was rubbing salt in the wound because, you know, they're still most likely number 1 in all of this. So, but like, it's just how aggressive Andrea was about it was just kind of interesting. So William kind of has to change his approach a little. Like, he didn't change it from what we saw in the context of the episode. He was helpful with Lena, though, because Lena's trying to balance, like, using science to understand the magic. She tries to use a spell that would help them track, at least give them in the right radius of the totem as well as Nixley, but it backfires and kind of almost gives Nia, I won't say vertigo, because, like, she loses her sense of direction. It's like, yeah, Lena kind of broke my brain. Kind of like, for a second, she turned into Zoro from One Piece. If you don't know anything about Zoro, he is one of those characters. One of his character traits is he has literally the worst sense of direction you have ever possibly seen. It is horrendous. And it just reminded me of that. But it's like, right, because Lena's trying to approach magic from a scientific standpoint, because even she was like, yeah, like, she was having a hard time because magic is more instinctual, not really like science-based. But William gave her an idea because he talked about his dad, like, you know, when his dad died, about before his dad used to make this very specific thing, and William tried to recreate it, but every time it never came out right. But it's because he got so focused on being technical about it that he forgot about there's specific ingredients that his father used to make it, like the way his dad approached it, like what his dad put into it. It's like the specific ingredients that because it was just kind of like, yeah, it's specific ingredients from a specific place. The crust, he made it by hand. So like a lot of that went into it. So it's like the same thing with magic. It's like, kind of, you know, my dad, he put himself into it. Like, that's what you got to do with your magic. Like, because you're like trying to compare yourself to your mom, you're trying to approach it from your, like, when you're doing a spell next time, come at it from yourself. Like, put yourself in the spell. Like, put your spin to it. The Lena Luthor way, your way, not your mom's way. And ultimately, it does work. But granted, the spell goes a little haywire and it actually expanded the power of the totem, which the totem drains humanity from other people and gives it to Nixley. Which I love the whole thing of, like, her standing on top of that chair and just spinning back and forth, and even Mitch being like, "Are you okay?" And he hurts himself. She's like, "Oh my God, I don't know what I do without you." And it's like, seeing her like that, even later on when she absorbs so much more humanity, as she's rolling that ball back and forth, and she's just like, oh, like, you know, there's so much suffering in the world. If only I didn't have this cup where I could end it all starving. Am I the only one who cares? I'm like, I start laughing along. I'm like, it's so weird to see you like this, because it's obviously the stark difference from yourself. But it's also like, Nixley's already a little crazy, and so to have her kind of be like this just seems even crazier. Granted, she's got her normal brand of crazy. This is an extra layer of crazy just because of the giant shift in personality. But just like her just rolling back and forth, just like laying on the ground, I was like, I think I don't know, I love that for a second. I thought that was so interesting. But their approach to this situation, like I said, Lena's situation didn't pan out the way they were hoping it would. And now Lena's kind of scared because she's like, right, if I do magic again, like it might backfire even more. But Kara got the idea that, like, right, what if we actually use this to flood Nixley? Like, use Lena's spell to expand it even more so that even more people are being affected by the humanity totem. And this way, all that humanity that gets absorbed will go to Nixley, so she'll have no choice but to reveal herself so she can get rid of the humanity because it's too much. She can't even get the next totem, the Totem of Hope, at The Hague because she needs to kill the guard to get him out of the way. But at first I thought what was going to happen is he's going to be on the phone talking. He's like, I love you, honey. Daddy will be home soon. And then but it's like, no, like the humanity kind of struck and she's like, I can't do it. Then she started thinking about, like, what if he has a family? What if he has children that would miss him? And I couldn't do that. And it's just like, oh. And it's just like, I love that, Mitch tried to help her, be like, oh, well, maybe we'll find a way to get the other totems without hurting people. And she's like, oh, thanks, Mitch. Look at you, always thinking about other people. And I'm like, it's really adorable to see her that way. The sad thing is, like, we never got to really know Nixley before she became who she became. Like, we get peeks into it. Like, obviously even then it's like, not about to say last episode, like the whole Courage situation. It's like, yeah, but it's like maybe the closest would be her in the Phantom Zone. But even then, it's like, well, that was her being deceitful the entire time, trying to like get Kara's trust and everything. And it's like, oh, maybe because she legitimately thought she could trust Kara, but it's like maybe on some level she knew who she needed to be in front of Kara to get what she wanted. Whatever the case may be, like we never got to see like Nixley before everything, But yeah, Kara's idea. Lena isn't too down for the idea, so because for Lena, she knows like what magic can do if you do, like she's like, right, no matter the intentions, it's like my mom like hurt someone, like it caused devastation, it led to the ripple effect between her and her friends, like it affected so many lives, her mom using magic like that, because Lena doesn't want to use her magic like that because it would mean hurting people no matter the best of intentions, but also like it mean being deceitful. She doesn't want to use her magic like that. But for Kara, it's like, no, we have to do whatever it takes to beat Nixley because I don't think we can otherwise. So like, yeah, we might have to do a little wrong to do a little right. But then Lena's like, right, from what you've told me of Nixley, what is she, what is she? She's cunning, she's manipulative, sounds like someone else we know. And she's like, Lex, and it's like, yeah, like we don't want to become like them just to do whatever we need to win, And it's like, because Kara has been pushing her so much to kind of dive headfirst into the magic and stuff like that, which even she realizes, like, right, you're right. That's the thing, you never want to act from a place of fear, Which, yes, fear's a good thing. It keeps you on your toes, but you never want to, like, make decisions and act out of fear. You do want to kind of think things through. So it's like, right, like, if we go down the route, if we just, like, completely, like, submerge ourselves in becoming who, because also, like, William wanted to write about all of this, but it's like, Kara's like, you can't. Like, if you tell people about Nixley, they'll panic. If you tell people about, well, we'll lose our advantage. But if you tell people, like, we're losing against Nixley, they'll panic. So it's like, in general, you can't talk about Nixley without having to basically lie to people. So kind of have to find something else to, like, write about. But initially, it's a situation of, Lena talking to Kara was like, right, I actually do have an idea, bringing it to light. So they are going to do what they're going to do, but rather than being the deceitful thing it was, it's like, we're just going to tell people the truth. William, you're going to write the story. He's like, yeah, but I'm going to write it my way. And it's like, at the end of the day, maybe people will understand why we did what we did, but this is our only chance, is our only hope, Yeah, it might cause more chaos in the process, and like, right, we'll just have to, like, appease some of that ourselves. Like, we'll just have to sweep around the city while Lena does her thing. And so Lena casts a spell, like, she needed to get out of the lab to kind of do her thing. And so obviously we see everyone around the city, like, doing their thing. Kara, I just love the whole, like, the guy shooting at her almost being like, all right, bro, like, are you like, yeah, you lost your humanity, so, like, you might not be thinking straight, but, like, I'm the girl of steel, Like, I got this, and he's like shooting, and then like the final bullet, she just like whizzes by her, and she's got that like expression, just like, like it's so like, dude, I love it because it's just like it's slow motion, and she's almost like, all right, yeah, and grabs the bullet, and like flicks the bullet towards him. It's just like it's super unfair. But I also loved Alex and Kelly out there saving the day while they're kicking butt. And it's just like, hey, man, like they're just having the most casual conversation. It's actually really sweet, them on the battlefield together. I said that so weird. Together. But the fact is that it's like, yeah, and Esme, she gave me this verse. It's like, and Alex is like, oh, I was like, yeah, you two together like that, so adorable. And then we kind of get the sad situation where like the parents that adopted Esme, it seemed like everything was fine, everything was good. I had a feeling, I was kind of scared. I was like, well, they're making it seem like this is too good to be true. Well, it turns out the mother, and I guess the dad signed off on it, was super messed up because like an alien attacked, but Esme like protected her, and she was like, are you okay? Are you okay? I thought she was going to freak out, but she was like, are you okay? Oh, it's like, oh, it's good, so I don't have to worry about it. But then like she literally leaves Esme outside. It's like, right, do that thing again and protect us. I was like, Jesus Christ, lady, are you out your damn mind? Oh, because you were trying to appease her earlier. Like, don't worry about it. Like, that's so far away, none of that's going to come here, and it did. But man, luckily, it all worked out because Nixley did give up all the humanity, so all the chaos did subside. But she kind of regretted it immediately. It's like, wait, I dropped the totem. Why did you let me do that? Fine, let's get out of here. So Kara was able to get the totem, and they were able to lock it away. But everything worked out in the end. Granted, it's like, right, William wrote his article and stuff like that. So ultimately, even Kara saying, like, at the end of the day, we don't know. Like, some people will understand why we did it. Others will feel like we abused our power. That, it's out in the open now. And we can have that discussion out in the open now without it being kind of deceitful thing of, like, what we're up to. It's like, no, people need to know, like, what we're up to. So whether that'll be a bigger thing kind of going forward or not, we'll kind of see, like, whether they'll just kind of be held accountable. But William wrote the article his way, which obviously you have Andrea being so happy about it. Then she's like, all right, so tell me who where the watchtower is. Tell me the identity of this person who uses magic, which he's like, no, I'm gonna write this story my way, not their way, not your way, because it's like he can't tell the story if he's having to be like, if he's always being handcuffed, because he's a good reporter, so he knows what to say to protect their anonymity, because also they have a right to like their secret identity and stuff. Like, he's not trying to burn that bridge because he knows that, like, because she was saying earlier, she's like, you're not different. He's like, I know I'm not. Because she's like, oh, like I said, she was like very hurtful at the beginning, but then he threatened the Daily Planet thing, and she's like, fine, don't be surprised that your desk's gonna be next to the bathroom. He's gonna, whatever, it's fine. It's like, but it's like my articles, as long as they're mine and not yours, because he knows as a good reporter, just like not to burn the resources, like your sources, not to screw them over, because they are your story. But it's also like he can't be handcuffed by them to write the story the way they want to, like, oh, this is kept off the record, this is kept off the record. It's like, I think he knows what to keep off the record and what not, because it's like, people have a right to know what's going on, and now they do. So he'll, I guess, continue being embedded with them. And so that's definitely going to be interesting when he ultimately finds out. Like, I think he's going to find out before the end of the series, like, who their identities are, that Kara's Supergirl, maybe that Nia's Dreamer. It might just be that he might find out about Kara's identity. We'll have to wait and see on that front. But, other than that, there's also the Esme thing, and it's like, right, they got to find a new home for her, because, it's like, obviously Alex is so upset, because it's like, no, like, oh, wait, she's not a right fit for their family? Oh, but she sure as hell was a right fit when they basically sat her out here, left her out here to defend them. It's like, as parents, they're supposed to protect her, and they're talking to Esme. She's like, I know that this isn't what you want, but, we'll find you a home. She's like, it's okay, I'll never have a home. I was like, oh! But then, like, the moment Alex and Kelly look at her, I was like, go ahead. You guys are going to adopt that little girl, aren't you? You're going to adopt that. I know you're going to do it. I know you're going to. Because, like, the moment we met that little girl, I was like, that's an adorable ass little girl, dude. I was like, I hope so. Because, like, Alex wants kids anyway. And it's like, because I think she was setting up for adoption anyway. Like, so. And just like, I think that's what it is. They're like, come on, kiddo. I think they're gonna go back, but I think they're setting it up for them. I'm like, and I like that, for that to come up in the final season too, because like that is something I think Alex has put that on pause, like, for a long time, like, because like it hasn't been a conversation she's brought up for a while. Like, after the whole Maggie situation, she was curious about doing it on her own, and obviously everything that kind of came with that, but like just stuff kept coming up. And now it's like, I think with Kelly by her side, it's kind of like, I think Kelly's feeling it and she's feeling it. Like that look they gave each other, they're going to adopt that little girl, you know, someone that can help her understand her powers. It's like, Alex is the best person for that. I mean, she grew up with her sister, so it's like, just she could just do for her sister. Plus, she has an amazing support team. She's got Kara, she's got her sister, she's got John, she's got Nia, she's got Brainy, she's got Lena. Like, she's got a core group behind her. Like, obviously, your mom will help in any shape or form, like having a grandchild and everything. So it's like, yeah, like, everyone's there. Like, she has a great support system, but like Kelly and Alex will be on top of this regardless, but also having the support system they have, it worked out fantastically. So I think that's where we're going, and I hope it is where we're going, that they adopt that little girl. Maybe they'll just find a different home, but I think like they're going to be that perfect home, and I hope they are. Dude, that'd be so, once again, I think they'd make it's them walking hand to hand like that eating episode looks so adorable too. So I'm excited to see where that kind of goes next. But obviously there's the Lena and Kara conversation at the end of, like, you know, Lena appreciates Kara getting her out of her comfort zone when it comes to doing magic thing. But she's like, I also appreciate you, you know, reminding me of the boundaries when it comes to friends, you know. So, you know, at the end, it's like they can use part of like the particles they have left from the humanity situation, but there's only enough to find one totem. The next totem they're going to aim for, even though she's going after the Hope totem in the Hague, they're going to go after the Dream totem because Nia's like, I think that's one I can help with. So that's definitely going to be interesting. Not unless they plan on using that for a different totem and then like use Nia to go specifically after the Dreamer. I figure they'd want her to like take the energy and use that to kind of dream and find the Dream totem. So we'll see how that all ends up playing out. But Nixley's back to herself, and Mitch being like, I'm so happy you're back to yourself. And he hugs her, and then she's looking at him like, what are you doing? He's like, sorry. Right. So what do we do next? It's like, right. At the end of the day, we're going to get the next totem. The humanity totem, I'll get it eventually. Like, the fact is that they'll all be mine eventually. But it's like, right, the humanity totem did that, so who knows what the rest of the totems are going to do. Like, yeah, because for the humanity totem, like, wielding it is the test. Like, can you handle that much humanity? And they're not trying to draw upon the power of those yet, but I think eventually they will, and I'm curious, like, who will hold that. Because once again, it's like you're seeing once again the parallels to like the Paragons, but I'm like, I'm curious because I could definitely see like Hope going to Kara, Dreams obviously to Nia, humanity, not unless that ends up being like a William thing or a Kelly or Alex situation. I don't know. I feel like you could definitely like line up the totems like what would with people a part of the Super Friends or that inner circle that could represent all of them. I could definitely see like maybe Kelly having the courage one. Essentially, we'll have to wait and see. But I'm very excited to ultimately see where all of this ends up taking us going forward into the next episode. But really, that's all I want to talk about. So that next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.